What is up, Insaners, and welcome to the first ever video of our Euro 2020 series. As promised, guys, we are back, and this time we'll be playing the Euro 2020 fantasy football game. In today's video, we'll cover how to play the game, we'll also talk about the rules and the scoring mechanism of this game. Guys, this is gonna be a super helpful video to get you started, so make sure you watch it till the end. If you like what you see, please remember to give this video a like. For those of you who are new around here, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. We'll be doing a lot of Euro content for the next 1.5 months, so make sure you hit the bell icon so that you can get a notification as and when we drop a new video. With that, let's get into today's first section, how to play the Euro 2020 fantasy football game. Now guys, there are 3 ways of playing this game. You can visit the UEFA website, uefa.com, click on the Euro 2020 on the top of the screen. Next, click on the Games tab. Once you do that, you'll see a list of games hosted by UEFA. Click on the Fantasy Football tab. This takes you to the screen where you can create your team. Guys, at this point you can create your team, or you can just autofill for the time being. Post that, it'll ask you to choose a captain and log into the website to save your team. During this process, you also get to choose your team name, so please do that as well. Now for saving the team, guys, you can sign in using Facebook, Gmail, or your Apple ID. Alternatively, you can also create a new account on the UEFA website if you don't have one already. Now guys, once you do a successful login, you'll be asked to complete the registration by filling in your first and the last name, your date of birth, and you'll have to accept UEFA's terms and conditions. Post that, there are some option fields like your favorite European national team, your preferred language, country, postal code, and gender. Guys, once you do all of this, you'll be able to save your team and access the fantasy game area whenever you want. Now guys, an alternate option to play this game is also through by downloading the Euro 2020 official app from Play Store or App Store, depending on whatever phone you have. You just need to log in once you download the app and you can start creating your team right away. Great, now that setting up your account and the team is done, let's look at the rules of this game now. There are a total of 7 match days, guys. Now I'll break those down for you. There are 3 group stage rounds, 4th is the round of 16, 5th is the quarterfinal, 6th are the semi-finals, and 7th, the last one, is the final. So that makes it a total of 7 match days. Let's look at the squad rules now. Guys, your squad will have 15 players, out of which 11 will be starting a particular match day. These 15 players comprise of 2 goalkeepers, 5 defenders, 5 midfielders, and 3 forwards. Your starting budget will be 100 million euros. Now this budget will remain 100 million for the first 3 match days. Guys, the interesting thing here is that the budget increases to 105 million euros from the round of 16 onwards, so spend your cash wisely. Now there's also a limit on how many players you can select from one national team. This limit changes as the tournament progresses. So just to make it clear, guys, for the group stage, you can pick a maximum of 3 players from the same team. For round of 16, you can pick a maximum of 4 players from the same team. For the quarterfinals, it is the maximum of 5 players from the same team. That number goes on to 6 when it comes to semi-finals. And for the final, you can choose up to 8 players from the same team. Guys, as a rule of thumb, it is better to spread your squad among different teams as it gives you a higher chance of scoring more points just in case a team fails. Great, now let's talk about how to pick your starting 11. Guys, for each match day throughout the tournament, you'll need to select 11 starting players from your 15 player squad. Make sure to save your team before each match day deadline, guys, otherwise your captaincy changes or even your transfers won't reflect in your final squad. So you'll have to do this before the deadline, which is the kickoff time of the first game within the match day. So let's say the first match of match day 1 starts at 9:30 PM, then the deadline for finalizing your team for the whole match day would be 9:30 PM. Now in terms of the formations, you can play a number of formations. Guys, you can play 3, 4 or even 5 defenders at the back. The minimum requirement is to play 1 goalkeeper, at least 3 defenders, at least 2 midfielders, and at least 1 forward. The next step is to select a captain, and guys, this is where things just get a little bit complicated. Guys, I'll try to go a bit slow, so make sure you understand the entire process. Now every time you save your team, you'll need to pick a captain from your starting 11. Now that player's points will be doubled for the match day. Once all the games on the first day of a match day have finished, and before the other games have kicked off, now you can sub your captain or switch the captaincy to another player who hasn't played yet within the match day. So guys, let's say if you are captaining a player from the first game of match day 1, let's say somebody from Italy, and on the next day you have Belgium versus Russia. So let's say your Italian player didn't perform well and you want to change him as a captain. Now guys, before the first game of the day, which is let's say Wales versus Switzerland, before that game starts, you can actually change your captain and make Kevin De Bruyne as your captain. Guys, do note that if you change your captain after the first match of that particular match day, then your changes won't be reflected in the current match day. So guys, if your original captain hasn't scored as many points as you'd like, this gives you the chance to double the score of a different player you think will do better on that match day. Now there could be another case where your captain doesn't play on a particular match day and you haven't changed him as the captain, then your captain will be automatically substituted with the first substitute on your bench. Guys, do note that this replacement won't get the captain double points. Guys, another very important thing to note is that if your captain doesn't play in a match day where you've made other substitutions, and I'll kind of cover substitutions in a bit, in that case, your captain won't be subbed out and none of your players will score double points for that match day. I think the ideal thing to do here is to select a captain from a team who's playing on the first day of a match day. Now that way, if he doesn't score as many points as you would have liked, you can switch the captain to one of your players who is playing a little later in the match day. I hope you got that, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you've not understood that or if you have any questions regarding the same, and I'll try to answer those. Now let's talk about substitutions. We have substitutions of two kinds. One is manual and the other one's automatic. Let's touch upon the manual substitutions first. Now after all the matches on a single day have finished and before the next matches within that same match day kick off, you have an option to sub out a maximum of 4 players unless they have been sent off. You can replace them with any of your substitutes whose team are yet to play within the match day. Now guys, any players that you sub out will score 0 points for that match day, and that's pretty standard. In terms of captaincy, as we mentioned earlier, you can change your captain to another player from your squad whose team is yet to play. Your original captain's double points, guys, will be lost and your new captain's score for that match day will be doubled. So do keep that in mind. Now once you confirm your subs or a change of captain, those changes can't be reversed, guys, so you cannot make any more changes to that. Now once the games on the final day of the match day have kicked off, you can't make changes to your team. Any changes you make will only be applied to the next match day. Another very important thing, guys, once you've made your manual substitutions or you've changed your captains within a match day, if any of your starting 11 players do not play in real life, they won't be automatically subbed out and you lose the automatic substitution benefit. Guys, a small tip from my side would be that because you can make subs mid-match day, try picking a squad with a balance of players in action over the various days within a match day. Now that way, if your initial players do not perform or they do not play, you can sub them out for players you think will have a better chance of getting you more points. Now what are automatic substitutions? I think it's pretty standard. If you don't make any substitutions or change your captain within a match day, some of your players might be automatically subbed out if they do not play. You can manage your substitutes by priority, guys, in case any of your starting 11 doesn't play that match day. So for example, if your goalkeeper doesn't play in a match day, then your replacement goalkeeper will be substituted in as long he's played. Now if any of your starting outfield players, now those are players apart from the goalkeeper, if they don't play on a match day, they'll be automatically subbed out. The player subbed in will be the highest priority substitute who's probably the first player on the bench and has played in the match day and whose substitution doesn't break the formation rules. Guys, there is another provision, and just to keep things a little more spicy, there's another option that you can do. If you switch the priority order of your subs once a match day has started, now guys, that will count as a manual substitution and no automatic substitution will be valid for the remainder of the match day. Again guys, if you've not understood this or if you have any doubts, please make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Don't worry, it's not that complicated and I'll try to help you out. Great, now that we've covered the squad rules and how to pick your starting 11, let's get into the transfers. Now transferring players in and out of your squad helps you to get more points throughout the tournament. Before the Euro 2020 kicks off, guys, you can make as many transfers as you like, keeping within the budget. So those are unlimited transfers. You can change your squad every day before the tournament starts. Now throughout the competition, you'll get free transfers each match day. The number of free transfers you can make depends on the stage of the tournament. For every transfer that you make beyond your free transfers allocated, now 4 points will be deducted for each transfer. This is something similar to FPL, for those of you who've played FPL before. Guys, as I mentioned before, you can make unlimited transfers before the tournament starts. Now during the group stage, that number goes to 2 per match day. Before the round of 16 starts, again you can make unlimited transfers. And then before the quarterfinal, you can make 3 transfers. For semi-finals and the finals, it is 5. So all of this is pretty straightforward. Now one last thing to note, guys, is that if you don't use your free transfers between match days, you'll only be able to carry forward 1 transfer to the next match day. And once the knockout stage starts, guys, you can't carry any free transfers forward between match days. Next, we have the chip strategy. Now, unlike FPL, there are only 2 chips in the Euro 2020 fantasy game. Thank God for that. I think we've made this game already very complicated. So I'm thankful there are only 2 chips to look into. Now, first is the wildcard. It is similar to the FPL wildcard. You can make unlimited transfers for that match day. The same team will also carry forward into the next match day. Let's say you use the wildcard in match day 2, for example. Normal rules for automatic and manual substitutions and captain changes, they still apply. If by any chance you've already made your transfer, then those transfers will be cancelled as soon as the wildcard is played. Guys, make sure you think twice before playing the wildcard chip, as you can only play it once. Also, once you've played the wildcard chip and you've activated that button, guys, you can't cancel it, so please be careful. Now guys, there's a second chip in the game as well, and it has a weird name. It's called Limitless. Now if you've played FPL, this is like your free hit chip. If you guys are not aware of a free hit chip or this Limitless chip, it's absolutely fine. We'll tell you what this chip does. It is the same as your wildcard chip, guys. The only difference this chip has is that the team you choose while using the chip only remains for that match day, and your squad will revert back to the old squad on the next match day. Rest, everything is the same as the wildcard chip. Now guys, coming to one of the most important sections of this game, how the hell do you score points? Now scoring points is also pretty simple. For an appearance from any player, that player gets 1 point. If that player completes 60 minutes on the pitch, that 1 point becomes 2. Guys, if there's any player who scores a goal from outside the box, then there's an additional point for that. Assist is pretty straightforward. That pass or that chance, which basically leads to a goal, is given 3 points. Now if a player wins a penalty, he gets those 2 points. If a player concedes a penalty, that's a -1. Now if a player is taking the penalty and if he misses it, then there's a -2. A yellow card is -1, a red card is -3, and if a player scores an own goal, that is -2 points. I'm pretty sure you would want your players to avoid those minus points, to be very frank. Now coming to goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and then we'll talk about forwards. If a goalkeeper scores a goal, again which is very highly unlikely, that goalkeeper gets 6 points. If he saves a penalty, that is 5 points. A clean sheet gives him 4 points, considering that he's played at least 60 minutes in the game. For every 3 saves a goalkeeper makes, guys, he gets 1 additional point. For every 2 goals conceded, he loses 1 point. Now coming to defenders, scoring a goal is 6 points. Clean sheet again similar to a goalkeeper is 4 points. And for every 2 goals conceded, again -1. Midfielders is also pretty simple. If a midfielder scores a goal, he gets 5 points. Clean sheet is 1 point. Now forwards, scoring a goal, 4 points, but they do not get any points for a clean sheet. This whole system is a lot similar to FPL if you've played the game before. Now coming to the last section of this video, guys, there are some important deadlines that you need to know. As I mentioned earlier, every match day, the teams will lock as soon as the first match within the match day kicks off. There are a total of 7 match days, so match day 1 is 11th June, that is 9 PM CET. That is the Central European time, guys. It might be different in your time zone, so do check out for that. Match day 2 is 16th June, match day 3 is 20th June, round of 16 is 26, quarterfinal is 2nd July, semi-finals is the 6th of July, and the final is on the 11th of July. Now guys, any transfers you make after the deadline, they will only come into effect for the following match day. So for example, if I make a transfer after the match day 1 deadline, it will only come into effect on match day 2. So that'll be all for this video, guys. Just one last thing to mention before we go. We also have a league for the Euro 2020 fantasy game. Our league name is Insanely Football and the league code is 797URYBJ01. It's also there on the screen, so make sure you take a screenshot of that and make sure you join the league for all the good fun stuff, guys. I hope you enjoyed this introduction video today and find it useful. Guys, let me know if you've not understood anything specific and like me to clarify for you. Please mention that in the comments below. Our next video should be out in a few days where we'll talk about the confirmed squads of different teams along with some really interesting players to go for. Guys, we'll also be releasing a draft video talking about our team selection and captain picks for the match day 1. So make sure you check that out while preparing your team. Guys, please do subscribe to the channel to get updates regarding these videos. Keep tinkering with your teams till then, and I'll see you insaners next time.